For this resin piece today, I used my amazing clear cast resin that I picked up at Michael's, but I'm sure other craft stores will have resin as well. I started off with my part A and added it into this little cup. I made some markings, but I ended up eyeballing it because I realized I needed less resin. Then I added part B and took a popsicle stick and mixed it together. Keep in mind that this is speeded up, and in real life you should mix it way slower to not get any bubbles in your resin. Here you can see the consistency of my resin batch. Now I'm taking my Castin Craft color pigment for resin. This is a specific resin pigment in white that I added a dot on top of the popsicle stick and started to mix it into my resin batch. I added a little more later on. To make the white background a little more fun, I added some white glitter into my batch as well. Just mix in as much as you'd like until you're happy. Then I filled my resin batch into this cupcake mold that is out of silicone. Then I took this lighter and held the flame over the resin to pop any bubbles that have floated to the top. Then you're going to want to let it cure for a few hours. After a few hours, I took the same clear glitter again and I sprinkled some on top so that I'd have a more glittery background. I also added some silver glitter as well. Then I mixed a new resin batch and added a thin clear layer on top of the glitter to make sure the glitter stays in place. I went over it again with my lighter and let it cure completely overnight. Once the piece is cured, I popped it out of my mold and started painting the images on top of my resin piece. I drew Santa Claus, a Christmas tree, and a Christmas stocking. I used my paint markers, but of course I don't have all the colors of the rainbow in paint markers, so I also used some acrylic paint with a fine brush. If you don't prefer those two techniques, you can always use a dotting tool and paint as well as you can with that too. This is how my resin piece looked like once I was done painting it. I painted something Christmas related, but of course you can paint on whatever you'd like. You could even personalize it for a friend or for family as a Christmas gift. To make your resin piece look even better, I used micro marbles. Here is just the color cherry. I mixed a new resin batch and added a tiny bit on top of the Christmas stocking. And then I took my tweezers and added on some of the red micro marbles to reassemble some red berries. I did the same thing with the Christmas tree and added on lots of different colors of micro marbles so that it looked like there were tiny ornaments on the Christmas tree. Once I was done adding all the micro marbles, I domed my resin piece with some more resin. I added it into the center and made sure that it would distribute itself nicely along the resin piece. Before letting it cure completely, I took my lighter again and popped all the bubbles.